Before my family and I made the move to Salem, Oregon, my wife and I had to seriously consider our careers and opportunities before making the big jump. Now, if you're thinking about making the move to Salem and you're wondering about the job market, the opportunities here, and some of the bigger employers, well then this video is going to be for you. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know that I'm a real estate agent, so my situation is a bit more unique, so I'm going to focus a little bit more on my wife's journey. Before uprooting our kids and family and establishing new roots here in Salem, we wanted to make sure there was going to be some sort of stability for my wife's career, and so her path to finding a job was a little bit more involved. It took a couple of months, and thankfully we had some connections with a big employer here in Salem, but finding that job in the right position for my wife was a little bit challenging, and we knew we had to do so because we wanted to buy a house in Salem, and in order to do that, we had to show some sort of established income in the city that we were moving to. Now, if you're somebody that's working from home and has a remote position, this may not necessarily apply to you. I am coming across a lot of clients that are moving from big cities, moving to Salem because they don't want that big city life, and because they can work anywhere, they choose a smaller city like Salem. However, if you are thinking about making that move and the job is important to you, but if the job market is important to you, then this video is definitely for you. We're going to explore the job market, the opportunities, and what's available here in the city of Salem. Now, Salem, Oregon's economy is bolstered by a diverse array of employers across various sectors. Some of these sectors will be obvious. Salem is the capital of Oregon, so you can probably guess what one of the biggest sectors is. Yes, that is the government. But there are other sectors that may be surprising to you. Now, I'm going to reveal Salem's emerging sectors that are growing pretty fast, and I'm going to also talk about some of the challenges that you're going to face in the Salem job market. Again, if you're anything like my family and I, you want to make sure you had some sort of secure employment before making that big move to a new city and having to worry about all of that once you're moved here. It's much easier to make a move when you've got your career, when you've got your job already established. Now, we're going to start off by talking about some of the largest job sectors that you can expect to find here in Salem. And there's going to be a lot of them, so I'm going to go over the list and talk a little bit about each one of those. As I alluded to in the introduction, the government and public sector is a massive employer for the city of Salem. Salem is the capital of Oregon, so we do have the Capitol building here. So a significant portion of the workforce is employed by the state, and there's many government offices, including the state legislature and various state agencies that are headquartered here in the city of Salem. The state capitol and a lot of these government buildings are located in the heart of the city in the downtown area. The downtown area makes up about 7 square blocks, and I'd say about half of that is actually dedicated to the Capitol building and government buildings. In addition to state employment, Salem city and county governments also provide numerous jobs in administration, public works, law enforcement, and social services. Government buildings make up a big portion of the downtown area, as I mentioned, which makes it kind of cool because it's very walkable to the entertainment center of Salem, which is in the downtown area. I also want to make note, as much as the government and public sector plays a big role in here in Salem, it doesn't feel like a government town. I've been to a lot of capital cities in my experience. Before working as a real estate agent, I actually worked in government, worked in politics many years ago. And so I have that experience of what these capitals are like. And I'd say Salem, you don't feel the political buzz, you don't feel the government buzz. So it's kind of it has a great balance, even if you work in the government area, in the government sector, and you're in the downtown area, it doesn't necessarily feel that way for people on the outside. Now, the next big sector in Salem is going to be healthcare. In fact, Salem Health is one of the largest employers that we have here in the city of Salem. Salem Health employs thousands of people across hospitals, outpatient clinics, and other medical services. The healthcare sector is one of the city's biggest industries, offering a wide range of medical, administrative, and support jobs. In addition to Salem Health and the big hospital that we have here in the city of Salem, you have a lot of support services in the healthcare industries. Surgical centers, urgent cares, numerous doctor's offices, dental and vision, specialist facilities, and people living in Salem also work in the hospital in Silverton and in Dallas. If you are working in the education center, well, Salem's got you covered as well. That's another big sector, an employment sector that we have here in Salem. We have several colleges in the city and in the surrounding areas, and we have the Salem Kaiser School District, which employs many people with the public school system that we have here. There's also a lot of private schools and charter schools, and also online schools that need administrative help. As far as higher education goes, we have Chemeketa Community College, we have Western Oregon University, and we have the Willamette Universities, which is one of the oldest universities in Oregon. All three are always looking for administrative help, professors, and support services. We also have the public school system, as I mentioned, Salem Keizer School District. It's one of the largest employers in the region with over 5,000 staff members. It includes teachers, administrators, and of course, all of the support personnel for the school district. Now, if you are thinking retail and retail management, Salem has you covered with that as well, and it is a growing sector that we have here in the city. And along with retail comes its big distribution centers. We have a massive distribution center in Amazon that opened up a few years ago that employs thousands of people. We also have Walmart and Costco, Fred Meyer, Target, other major big box stores. And we also have a lot of smaller outlets that are also looking to fulfill their employment needs as well. But the city of Salem is growing in that sector. So if that's something that you're looking for, they've got you covered. Another large employment sector here in Salem is agriculture and manufacturing. Now, the city of Salem is surrounded by farmland and countryside and the Willamette wine country. So there are plenty of opportunities in that job sector. In fact, a lot of people move to the city of Salem because that's what their specialty is. And we have that many opportunities to fulfill the jobs that are needed in that sector. Some of the subsectors in agriculture that we're going to find opportunity is farming, food production, and the agricultural technology sector. The farming community plays a massive role here in Salem and is actually celebrated and highlighted by the city. We've got Agriculture Fest here. We've got farms that open up for you-pick season, kind of welcoming the public to come in and pick their own fruit and also kind of get a taste of what they do as farmers. They also put on great fall festivals and winter festivals, again, bringing the public onto their land, welcoming us to what they do and what they provide the city of Salem. You also find a lot of restaurants using farm-to-table food menus because we are so close to the agricultural sector here in Oregon. And if you are into wine and winemaking and vineyards, well, again, we are in the heart of the Willamette wine country, so there are lots of opportunities to run your own winery or work within that sector. And when it comes to manufacturing, there are several manufacturing industries that operate in and around Salem, including those focused on machinery, food processing, and construction material. Now, the last largest big sector that we have here in the city of Salem would be transportation and logistics. Now, I mentioned Amazon under retail and distribution, but it also pertains to the logistics sector as well because it employs so many people in that particular part of the business. We also have a FedEx hub and a UPS hub, which adds to the logistics opportunities here as well. Now, the reason why this particular sector has grown so fast and so much and is so important to the state is because of how Salem is so centrally located. We're just about an hour and change away from Portland, same with Eugene. We're also about an hour and change away from the coast, and we have the Interstate Highway 5, which runs right through the city of Salem, making logistics and transportation a vital part of the city of Salem and how it connects to the rest of the state. And as a reminder, I am Dave Fein with the Real Estate Dads at eXp Realty. My team and I love helping people move and relocate to the city of Salem. If that's someone like you, hit us up at the contact information that's popping up or in the description below. If you like what you see, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button to get this video out to more people who are thinking about moving to Salem. Comment below. I'd love to hear some of the job opportunities that you're looking for if you have any questions about the job market, and I'll be sure to answer them there. Now I want to talk about some of the emerging job sectors that are growing here in the city of Salem. Now, some may double up on the list that we had just talked about, but there's going to be some new sectors here that we're going to go over. Now, these are growing and they're growing fast. The fastest growing industries in Salem, Oregon reflect both regional trends and specific needs for the city. These industries are expected to expand as the city continues to develop, adapt, and change to the economy. Now, these emerging job sectors reflect both regional trends and specific needs for the city. These industries are expected to expand as the city continues to develop, adapt, and change to the growing economy. Now, the first one on the list is healthcare and health services. And yes, I talked about this in the previous section, but this is an emerging field where it is constantly growing and of very high demand. So if you are in this industry, the city of Salem is going to be primed for employment. With Salem Health being one of the major employers in the area, the healthcare sector continues to expand, driven by increasing demand for medical services, kind of an aging population, and advancements in healthcare technology. There's also a growing focus in telemedicine and outpatient care. I also want to mention that there is also a fast growth in the naturopathic healthcare that we have here in Salem. So if you are a naturopath or doing functional medicine, There is a high demand here in the Salem. More and more people are using those services. I actually personally like those services as well. So if that is something that you're looking for, Salem has you covered with that too. The next one on our list is technology and IT. Now, while it is a smaller sector compared to places like Portland and other big cities, it is growing, and it is growing fast here in the city of Salem. The expansion of digital services, software development, cybersecurity, and IT support companies is creating more tech-related job opportunities in the city. The rise in remote work has also encouraged the growth of tech roles in the region, attracting more workers who prefer to live in the more affordable areas like Salem. Another fast-growing emerging sector is going to be in manufacturing, and I had mentioned that a little bit before, but we really do see that here, especially in food processing, machinery, and electronics. In addition, we also have a big expanding green energy sector that's happening here in Salem. Now, the proximity to major highways and ports also facilitates manufacturing and the distribution opportunities. Fourth on the list of emerging job sectors is going to be logistics and distribution. As I mentioned before, we have several distribution centers that include FedEx and Amazon. And again, because we are so close and so central, this industry continues to grow and become more important, not only to the city, but to the region itself, and actually the whole state. And as more people populate the state of Oregon and distribution becomes more important, if you are someone in this job sector, this one is growing at rapid speed. And I mentioned Amazon just opened up a massive facility here in the city of Salem that is employing thousands of people. And so there are plenty of opportunities in that sector. Another fast-growing sector that we have here in Salem is renewable energy. Now, Oregon is big on this sector, and it is growing fast in the city of Salem. So you don't necessarily have to be in Portland and the outskirts of there. In fact, I'd argue it's better to be in Salem because there's so much more open space. More companies and more manufacturers are coming this way to build their facilities and kind of test their renewable and green energies. Oregon has really committed to ambitious environmental goals, which has definitely fostered growth in these renewable energy sectors, including solar, wind, and other energy efficiency sectors. Salem's focus on sustainable development, green building practices, and eco-friendly businesses is contributing to the rise in this sector. The next emerging sector is going to be a repeat on one of the biggest sectors, and that is in the educational field. I had mentioned that, so I'm not going to go too much more in detail. But again, because we have several universities at different levels, and we have the Salem Kaiser School District here, it continues to drive job opportunities. So if you are in the educational field, it is not going anywhere. In fact, it continues to grow, and it is growing faster and faster as more people are moving to Salem, so the demand is higher. Seventh on the list is going to be construction and real estate. This is actually where my wheelhouse is. Now, the reason why this is growing so rapidly, again, is because there are so many more people moving from larger cities into Salem. So there is a much higher demand for more housing and more commercial buildings. So as far as commercial buildings go, we are seeing this all throughout the city, more and more buildings popping up, especially in the mixed use sector where we've got retail on the bottom with some sort of housing on top that is becoming more and more popular. As the city expands, we're also seeing more demand for housing, whether that's more condos, more apartments, or actually whole full-on built-out single-family home communities. We're seeing a lot of that in the West Salem area and the eastern portions of Salem and parts of South Salem. So the city continues to grow. If you are in that sector in construction or real estate, just know that because the population is booming here and there's more of a demand, that this sector is actually growing quite rapidly. Now, the last one on the list actually caught me by surprise. It's actually tourism and hospitality. I wasn't actually thinking Salem was a big destination for tourism, but the more I live here and the more I see, the more I can understand why, especially because it is so centrally located. The city of Salem has numerous historical landmarks. We've got a ton of festivals that happen throughout the year that bring in people from all over the state and all over the country. We are in the heart of the wine country, so wineries and people tour and travel here to experience that. We have got a ton of outdoor recreation because Salem is just about an hour and change away from the Cascade Mountains and about an hour or so away from the coast. You've got the best of both worlds by staying here in the city. And the demand for local experiences, guided tours, and regional events is continuing to increase, which fuels the job creation in the hospitality and tourism sector. Now that we've gone over some of the top sectors and some of the top emerging sectors that we have here in Salem, I want to share with you our top 10 employers in the city of Salem. Now, these employers do fall in line with the emerging sectors and the top sectors that we have here, and they are always looking to hire. Now, the employers on this list certainly fall within the categories of the emerging sectors and top sectors that we have here in Salem. Now, I actually don't have this list memorized, so bear with me as I look at the list and go over them with you. Now, the biggest employer that we have here in Salem is the state of Oregon. After all, we are, of course, the capital of the state. Number 2 on the list is the Salem-Keizer School District. Number 3 would be Salem Health. Number 4 on the list is Marion County. Number 5 is the federal government. Number 6 would be the Amazon Fulfillment Center, as I mentioned before, massive facility that was built out a few years ago. Number 7 is going to be the city of Salem. Number 8, Chemeketa Community College. Number 9, Walmart. And number 10, SAFE, which is the State Accident Insurance Fund. So those are the top 10 employers, but of course there are many, many more employers that we have in the sectors that I had gone over before. Oh, and this is totally anecdotal, but there are more credit unions and banks in the city of Salem that I've seen in any other city before. So if you are in that credit union or banking industry, just know that there are plenty and plenty of opportunities for you as well. Now, I did want to go over some of the challenges you may find here in Salem, and the first one would be the competition for the jobs. Now, you could say this could be for any city, and that may be true, but what's happening here in Salem is because more and more people are moving to the city, especially from larger cities, we're finding more and more competition for the jobs that are available. So just know that it is going to be highly competitive. I would start the process as soon or as early as possible before making the move here, so you can take the time to find and establish yourself and your career and your position here before making the move. And as I mentioned, that's going to be an important factor, especially if you are buying a house here. A lot of lenders want to make sure that you have some sort of established income prior to making that move. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to start your work, but it does need to mean that you have to have a contract in place, a written contract that you can show from your employer to the lender as proof of an income before making the move to the city. Now, of course, if you're working from home and remote, that doesn't matter as much. Now, I mentioned the tech industry as being an emerging sector here. However, it does not compare to the city of Portland. So now Portland does have a lot more opportunities in that particular sector, as would any bigger city. However, it is growing here. Just know, again, it's going to be highly competitive. So you may not find as many tech jobs or variations within the tech sector in Salem, but again, it is growing. And so ultimately, I think it will get here. Now, the next challenge you may find here in Salem is job accessibility in the more rural areas. Now, the city of Salem, as I mentioned, is surrounded by countryside, but there's a lot of rural areas, and a lot of people choose to move to Salem, again, to get out of the big city life. So they want a little bit more space, a little bit more land, so they're on the outskirts. So finding jobs closer to home may be a little bit more challenging. It just may add to your commute going into the city sector or in some of the more commercial hubs or manufacturing sectors that we have here in Salem. So just know that if you are going to live on the outskirts of Salem, your travel time and your commute time may be impacted by that. So you can see Salem does have a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of emerging sectors, a lot of established sectors here. And again, if you're like my family and I, before making the move, this was going to be an important factor to establish yourself career-wise before making the move. Now, a lot of people will make the move and figure out the job thing later. That was not something that my wife and I were comfortable with. And again, I'm a real estate agent, so I had to reestablish myself. No big deal. I've done it before. But for my wife, it was important that she had some sort of stability. And again, because we were buying a home, we did actually have to show that stability before moving to a new city and purchasing a home. So as a reminder, I am Dave Fein with the Real Estate Dads at eXp Realty, a local real estate agent. Team and I love helping people move and relocate to the city. Make sure you hit us up at the contact information that's popping up or in the description below. Hit the like button if you like what you see. Subscribe to the channel to get more content and comment below. Would love to hear again your questions about some of the job sectors here in the city of Salem or any other questions that you have about the city of Salem.